Let's see what we pull up here. Yep. Ruined my childhood. Cocked up generation. Sucks. This show didn't come out right. Yeah. That seems about internet hate on total new level, at least for this show. So we'll get into that, folks. Hello, fellow Thunderans. This is Eric Ho, and I will be talking to you about ThunderCats Roar, the new little thing that was shown. This is probably a really late video, but this was something I was thinking about at work, and then I thought, why not do a topic and talk about it? So I'm actually going to be defending this, and holy crap, did they jump on it. At least the people on the internet. Have you seen from the little clip in the beginning that I showed you? Well, yeah, those people on YouTube, they sure as hell took to it and decided to ride on that hate train and get some nice views out of it. So we'll see what. I think that's a little early for that, but we'll get into that. We'll talk about some other things. So first of all, let's just start off with the Cartoon Network programming nowadays, as people are drawing parallels to the other shows. I know you've all seen the if you turn on your guide and turn to Cartoon Network, you see that instead of like a big old half-hour block and then you hit info easy and you can find out what the shows are. Well, these are little 15-minute blocks. There's like 4 in each hour, or even less because they're like shorter. And then you have to, you're missing shit. And then oh look, it's 3:16, so you're on the wrong one, and then now your guide's screwed up. It's kind of a long way away when they used to do half-hour shows with 2 episodes, or 1 new episode, 1 old one, like Ed and Eddie used to do. Sorry. It's almost weird to look at the TV guide nowadays. It also comes down to what's really on nowadays. There are shows that the audience of the younger generation can consume, and then they can move on, or they can appear and on any episode, and then they're not lost for episodes. Like Steven Universe, if you miss an episode, something may have happened, and then you're kind of lost a little bit. And then for how infrequently they show episodes of that, it's like, well, maybe I won't catch up. I'll have to go on the internet and go find it. Which, I mean, you have the Cartoon Network app, so that may be what they're eventually going to be going to, but we're not here to talk about that. So, what are they? What it was almost funny too when ThunderCats Roar was announced, and then I look at my YouTube like recommendations, and all of a sudden it's like all of these videos. ThunderCats Roar sucks. Whose fault is this? Who's getting fired? The videos I showed you in the beginning there. Those were the same videos I saw, and I never clicked on because it's like I think they jumped on the hate wagon way too fast. And then of course these are the same people who most likely got all over Teen Titans Go for the same exact thing. And then there are also people on Twitter who are like, screw this version because it's not what the 80s version is. And then they have their various different reasons and all this other crap. And then they're like, what the hell was it? What happened to the other version? Well, the 2011 version did exist. That was the more story-driven vein with, action and probably the way people would want it now, at least you would think. Again, because most of the time people commenting on things or hating them or super loving them or like being super loud are usually people who don't watch it, they don't buy it or have any sort of tie to it. They may have an idea and then they may just be writing it because it's the internet and it's Twitter, and to be loud is to be fun. At least that's how. So that's I guess it is. So what happened to the 2011 version of ThunderCats? I guess I'll throw that in there. So the 2011 version of ThunderCats is probably, that show was to me it was decent, but it's just it began to suffer from the bad management of Cartoon Network when they started to introduce the other show. So in 2011 was when everything started to go really strange for them, because they initially started out Fridays at like 8 o'clock. And then for some reason it would disappear for 3 months on hand, and then it would reappear. It would show like 4 episodes, and all of a sudden it would be gone, and then it would come back for like 2 episodes, and then it totally fell off, and then it showed up on Toonami one time at like with Symbiotic Titan at like the very end of the Toonami block, and then it just totally disappeared again. And then of course some people were like, oh, they're just trying to push a toy line. What do you think the 80s was about? The 80s was all about pushing that toy line. G.I. Joes and Transformers, come on. ThunderCats, He-Man, those guys were all about pushing the toy line. Transformers, literally, if they weren't making toys of the Transformers, they would kill the character off. That is how that would work. So people who are saying, like, they're doing this to sell merch. Of course doing it to sell merch. Of course. But merchandise is the whole point of this crap. And you can't be like they're pandering. Well, what the hell was the 80s about? The 80s was all about... It's a sweet-ass Optimus Prime doll or action figure, and it's in the show. You know, they would show it. I mean, of course, those cartoons kick ass, but I'm not. That's from a person who wasn't around during then. I just caught reruns, but we'll move on here. Switch gears. So, getting away from how that show was completely abused, we'll go on to Roar. So, ThunderCats Roar is the show for the new generation. For you who are the 80s fans, this show is not for you because you are, wow, you're way older. You're probably in your 40s. Now, this show is not gauged for you. It's probably for your kids. You can sit down and watch it with your kids and be like, these characters are familiar to me, and this is the thing. And you may actually like this show if you just stick your head out of your ass, or if you sit there and then. The thing that I will always say that Teen Titans Go did correctly was. They weren't trying to be the other show. No, they weren't. They completely turned direction, and they were a community comedy show, which me and my friends accepted, and they were like, okay, we wish we had the other show, but fine. This is what we get. And then as we sit there and watch it, suddenly you hear these in-jokes. You get these things be like, who's Red X on Teen Titans Go? And then Robin be standing there, and then all of a sudden it's like, is it Jason Todd? Or is it, fan theories and things would come out. And then it's like, these in-jokes were funny. Because you get them because you used to watch the old show. Why can't ThunderCats do the same thing? Lion-O goes thunder, 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 and then he's like making a sandwich. So he's like using the sword of omens to chop bread for a sandwich or meat for his sandwich or something like that. And it's kind of funny. Or he's just randomly sitting on the toilet and he's practicing, and then the ThunderCats bust into the bathroom while he's in there and he's like staring at himself in the mirror or some shit. That could be funny. I think if they do little jokes like if he faces off against Mum-Ra in the first episode of that show and he goes thunder, 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 and then something wacky happens like the sword flies out of his hand or he accidentally pokes Mum-Ra in the eye because it extends too far, that is funny because that's the kind of crap that should happen for this show. And that's just what I think for that. And the show's not even out yet. And people are like shitting all over it, and I don't get it. At least when I shit on the Powerpuff Girls, I was like, it was out. I watched like 6 episodes, and then I couldn't take it anymore because of shit. This one's not even out yet, and people are just shit. Ruined my childhood. Yeah, you should put that for YouTube views. It didn't literally go back in time and just like take Lion-O of the ThunderCats in the 80s and like rub shit on him. Really, I mean, some people just like to overreact. So I'll also address the picture that was also spreading around. There is a 4-picture that shows the 4 characters. It shows Gumball, it shows the dude from Gravity Falls, it shows Star from Star vs. Evil, and then it also shows Steven Universe, I think. So it shows this image, and it's like, this is the shared image. First of all, Gumball shouldn't be in the comparison because that's the art style of his family, while the rest of the characters in the show are drawn very differently. They make fun of how characters are drawn, how things go through an animation. I mean, they do anime episode designs and other things. So that show is kind of like a misnomer. The rest of those shows, however, are really good shows. So I don't really see the bad thing about that picture. Steven Universe, Star, and come on, Gravity Falls is legendary. I haven't even watched it, but I've seen episodes and I'm like, yeah, this is a good show. And everybody else will agree. Star vs. Forces of Evil is about in the same vein because it's like the princess and you take the spin on it, and then she's trying to be the hero, which is cool. I mean, I watched that show too, which is pretty good. And then Steven Universe, which speaks for itself. I mean, all of the shows that are on there that were in that little picture they're spreading around, those are good shows. So if anything, that's a positive. But of course, that picture, people have been saying, well, somebody just kind of altered it and did it to like push their narrative. So it's like, oh, okay. But I mean, you can use it for the other way too, where it's like it fits because those are good shows, and this may be that too. And I'll describe ThunderCats Roar as, it looks like OKKO's art style to me. And OKKO is also another show that is it's pretty decent in my mind. It's not super stupid, but it also has like combat in it, so it's pretty funny. Now, the one show that I hated would now this is a I would call it a reboot. Well, I guess it's more of a reimagining. A reboot would be changing the fundamental beginnings of the show itself when it's brought back. Like Ben 10 was a reimagining, the new Ben 10. And that was terrible because they took away all of the alien designs. They made him humanoid. They made Gwen stupid. And, I did a video on that. It's in the top. So that is like the wrong way to do it. If they do the thing like I said, where they make Lion-O funny, and funny as in like obvious comedy, like I don't know, Tiger could be a perv and he can turn himself invisible, or he turns himself invisible and he gets run over by Panthro and the Thunder Tank a lot, or he turns invisible and then he like does dumb crap like he walks off the side of a mountain. It could be hilarious. Or Chitara runs too fast and then she like falls off stuff or hits stuff. Simple jokes you could think of as you were a kid that you would probably see in the show that are probably gonna be there. Will probably make you laugh if you give it a chance. But if you're just gonna be like, all right, fuck this show because it's pandering or whatever the hell your image is, whatever the hell your negative thing is. At least when I hated on the Powerpuff Girls, it was because they took the characters and they turned them they didn't change them physically, but mentally they screwed with them. But of course that could be for here too, where it's like mentally they've changed. Well, Powerpuff Girls, the show, I would say, had it was probably the closest reimagining that was brought back compared to the others, because all of the core elements of the show were the same. Teen Titans Go compared to Teen Titans, one was a comedy show, one was a drama action show. The core elements are very different. Ben 10, I would say now that one falls with the Powerpuff Girls, where the core of the show is basically the same, where Ben has alien adventures while learning to cope with the Watch in his life, but then they go and ruin it by taking Gwen and turning her dumb. So they changed the characters within them. So it's like, if you're going to change the show, at least go the full super change with it. Don't just take it what it was and then try to like put a little, just tweak things to where it's like, I don't like these changes in the show. You could have just had the same show as last time if you would have just remained what they were. Of course, voice acting notwithstanding. You can change voice actors unless they're like truly like Optimus Prime's voice, who's quite literally like the voice of Optimus Prime. I don't get why they couldn't get Bubbles back, but okay, whatever. So in closing, I will say this: you give the show a shot if you're still around. I think ThunderCats fans will get a kick out of it, just like they showed the creator who had a man bun. He's a fan of the show. The in jokes will be there, and you'll probably get them, and you'll probably be like, okay, this show's pretty funny. At least my opinion is going to be. It's going to come out in 2019, at least from what I remember. Just don't overreact to it. The hate on Twitter was like amazing when I was like waking up for work, and I looked down and go, what the hell is wrong with ThunderCats Roar? What the hell? And then there's all these people just shitting on it, and it's like, okay, so you don't like the art style, fine. They haven't even told a joke yet, and they haven't even done stuff. At least give it 5 episodes or 3 15-minute blocks or whatever the hell they do now as a measurement, and then have an opinion. Don't be like, okay, hate it from what it looks like, screw it. But yeah. And then I do feel sad that the 2011 version just got swept away like it did, but that's what the new times are. New times are super consumable shows that last not very long, that don't have to watch reruns to see. But then the thing is, though, I'll say this in closing: for these new shows to get any sort of traction, Cartoon Network needs to come to a realization that they cannot flood like their airways with Teen Titans Go to like flush these shows, because Steven Universe will barely ever come on. Same thing with Adventure Time. I have not seen them on TV themselves in a long time. It's always just blocks of Teen Titans Go or a Scooby-Doo movie or something like that. and then maybe they get banished to Boomerang. And I say banished because Boomerang is officially just a toxic waste dump of where these shows go to fester and die, because that channel is not even a throwback channel anymore. It's a throwback later on at night, sure, but then in the early, you'll see stuff like all of the Sonic Boom episodes aired on there, and it's like, yeah, sure, that counts as new release, sure. But if ThunderCats wants to survive, they have to stop suffocating it with Teen Titans Go. If they're trying to use Teen Titans Go as a device to maybe get an audience and then try to have the next show keep it, like how they do for the big shows on the big networks, on like TV, regular TV, where they have they'll try to hold, they'll have the audience for Conan, and then, like, I don't know, Lopez Tonight got canceled because they couldn't hold the audience after Conan or something like that. It just wasn't a retention for them. So that's what they try to do, and it just doesn't work. So then eventually be like, all right, this show's not good because it doesn't keep up with Teen Titans Go, so we'll just cut it here, click. So I fear that's what ThunderCats is probably just gonna wind up going through, and they'll arrive, they'll be around for 2 months, like Powerpuff Girls was, and then they'll disappear. Powerpuff Girls did the same thing when they showed up. Ben 10 too. Ben 10 arrived, disappeared, to never be heard from again. And they were actually getting better. Ben 10 still hated how Grandpa and Gwen were, but it was getting better. So that's what I fear for ThunderCats Roar. So what do you guys think? Do you think the show will just bomb? Do you think it'll suck? Are you with the other guys and you be like, the 80s were the best? Well, I think so too, but I mean, those cartoons were awesome, at least what it looks like. Yeah, they were. So what are your opinions? Drop in the comment below. I don't know. We're talking about some more hot topics I think up at work and put them on here. So I'll see you all next time. Ho! Or at least how Lion will do it. Thunder. Now to go make me a sandwich, sort of omens. Yeah.